Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Parmigiani Fleurier. I'm standing here with the man.
Hello, Andrew.
The CEO, Guido Terreni. This is a brand that is just, there's such distinction in what this brand does, including this incredible slate green Parmigiani Fleurier Tonda, which we're going to get to, a skeleton watch that has this really uniform, lovely slate green color. So on trend this year at Watches and Wonders. It's funny, I do watch other channels. I saw that Ben's Watches,
Okay.
I think he's more famous on Instagram. He's picked this as potentially the watch of the fair.
Oh, really? I'm
Yeah.
touched. Thank you.
It's nice. But look, this brand is a brand of subtlety and discernment and distinction. It is not one of these brands that is flashing around with the latest trends, and yet you've accidentally fallen into a trend this year.
Okay. Well, thank you for your kind words.
How are you, man?
I'm good.
What is the mood in the camp, and what are we going to do today?
Well, the fair is always a moment of energy, a moment of adrenaline. It's where we showcase our most intimate exercise, which is the creation, and there's always a lot of gratification, a lot of rewarding in what we're doing, and we're continuing to go on that path of private, refined luxury for the owner, not to a self-indulgence of a pleasure, which is really refined.
And that is the mood of Parmigiani Fleurier. Not to editorialize too much at the start of the video, but this is a brand that is very calm, very measured, very composed, and just very confident. There's a quiet confidence, and it also is a brand that takes a little time to take hold. I use our editor, Zach Blass, as an example. Zach saw the Parmigiani Fleurier Tonda
The GMT RATTRAPANTE?
GMT RATTRAPANTE from 2 years ago.
2022.
3 years ago.
Yeah, it was our first world premiere.
I believe it was his watch at the fair. He has just purchased that watch in the last 2 weeks. It's the only watch he brought to the fair. I remember talking about the interleaved hand underneath the hour hand that you can activate with a very simple pusher. It took years for this idea to take hold, for the passion to grow. That's an example of the Parmigiani Fleurier effect. Should we get to new watches and see if we can get watches to take hold in people's minds again?
All the candies
what do we have?
outside. So speaking...
Look at these candies that are just laid out for us.
Speaking of continuity,
Yes.
we're talking about the GMT RATTRAPANTE.
Yes.
It's the first time since 2022 that we add a second dial color that we call Verzaska.
This is perfectly sized to me. That's like a
It's on
Cinderella
purpose.
moment.
That means you
What do
have
you
my
think,
wrist.
guys? Would you take this or a Rolex OP? I'm taking this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you spoke about the GMT RATTRAPANTE.
Yes.
It's the first world premiere. It's the most discreet and
Yes.
the most understated GMT.
That's the word I was looking for, not distinction, discretion.
Discretion is part of the brand.
Yeah.
We're not an ostentatious brand. You're not bragging that you're a traveler when you're at home. You
Yes.
are just a two-hander.
Yes.
But when you are traveling, you want a flawless experience, and that is what the GMT provides you. The
Blue color, this is also a sort of a slatey grey.
You have a green, you have a blue inside. It's called Verzaska.
Yes.
For those who don't know, Verzaska is a valley in Ticino, south of Switzerland, where you have this natural swimming pools and a river, and people go and refresh there. And the color of the water is between green and blue, and we got inspired by nature on this one. So this is...
Can you show me the...
Of course.
Jump the hour hand. This is the best part. How absolutely subtle and quietly refined is this GMT? It looks like a very simple two-hander, no running seconds.
So basically, everything that separates you from home is white, like the traveler time, and you press a button at 8 o'clock because it's the most comfortable position to press something. So you move forward the hands, and then when you want to go home, everything that reunites you with home is gold. The pusher, the RATTRAPANTE function here, and the gold hand is your home time. And as you want to go home quickly, the hand goes back the quickest way. So it's anti-clockwise if it's only under 6 hours, and it's clockwise if it's over 6 hours. And in a blink of an eye, you're home. And
That is just, I mean, come on, guys. A GMT that hides the hour hand under the main hour hand and that only appears with this simple push of a button. You can see why we lost our minds in 2022. I think I chose it as my favorite watch too.
Well, basically, the purity of the function is to be simple.
Yes.
And is to be intuitive. and it's to be flawless. When I travel, I hate to move the minute hand. I'm a nerd on that because
Yes.
you don't have to move the minute hand.
No.
So everything
Especially
has to
if
be,
it's set precisely, then you have to...
Yes, you have to think where the minute is. And
Yeah, exactly.
the second is, size do matters, but for once, if you take away a little bit, it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a 40 mm instead of a 42.
Yes.
With, again, this chromatic choice with the very pleasant, very serene.
These colors are all working into a bit of a Pantone family.
Well, I'm glad you say this because it seems that this year people are looking at the colors like if they were a design, a vision,
Yes,
and it
yes,
is. It
yes.
takes time to build up a vision because it takes time to add a reference, add a color.
Yes.
But at the fourth year of the relaunch, the palette of colors is now understood, and these are colors that are extremely soft, very subtle. They match with your outfits easily, but they are very specific, so it's very difficult to do. And most of all, they have to be never flashy.
Yes.
We're not about being loud, we're not about being apparent. It's more about an understated color that has to win time. You must not be worn out by the creativity.
Yes.
The creativity has to outlive you. So 40 mm instead of 42.
That's right.
We're taking away the date also after the
Super
success
clean.
of last year's Sienna, Golden Sienna micro rotor that took out the date, and all the debate started, date, no date.
Yes.
And it was very interesting to see. And this is a mineral blue, very pleasant light blue. And the fit, 2 millimeters less, makes it much more refined, much more elegant to wear. So,
And what I also see here is this coined bezel retains a dressiness and an elegance that you usually forfeit with a sports watch. Usually it's one or the other. To me, there are very few elegant chronographs. This fits into that esteemed category. And again, the lugs, there's beautiful flourishes to the lugs that are attached to the case. They're not just melded to the case. This is a really elegant chronograph.
Absolutely. And the finishings, when you have a guilloché by hand, the platinum bezel, all the finishing that you see on the bracelet, the comfort, this is very costly to make. So
Yes.
we put a lot of value in the watches because that's what we're about. We're watchmakers and we like to provide the experience.
I love that. It's for someone that wants a sports watch, but truly wants to actually amp up, turn up the dressiness and the refinement, which is, again, I'm trying to think on the spot about watches that fit in that category. It's a very refined category.
Now here you're saying something, well, I like your reaction.
Yep, that's different.
This is the PF Sport that is dressed in a different material. It's something that is unprecedented in the color. We call it an Ultrasermet. Sermet is a word that unites ceramic and metal. And the beauty of this and the unicity of this is that the color of the metal is gray and it reflects the light in a very powerful way due to the fact that you have 32% of atomic presence of titanium. And so if you're under a blue sky, you will probably see reflection of blue in your case.
Yes.
If you're under white light, you will see it almost like steel.
Ooh.
And this is a lively and changing material that is extremely sophisticated.
There is a lovely horizontal brush to the lugs and the case that you don't expect. It's a really heavy satin brushing there.
You need diamonds to treat this material because the hardness is unscratchable, and to match that design, which is extremely demanding, 14 components of ceramic has to be developed. It takes 1 day to assemble the 70 components of the case.
Contrasting with those satin brushed lugs is these mirror polished pushes. They almost look like, what is it, obsidian? It looks like a polished black stone.
Well, yes, but the fact that it's lighter than black, it has this gray.
It's almost a gunmetal.
Is becoming. You have a metallic luster in this that makes it a luxury material.
Yes, but of course, the thing that you're thinking as you look at this is fluted.
Yes.
Tell me about this bezel. I haven't seen a bezel like this on a Parmigiani before.
It is the same design that you see on the sport watches in metal, but due to the difficulty of working the metal, the Sermet is done in two parts. So you have the cone and then you have the fluted that are mounted together to give you the impression that it's one bezel, but it's two pieces in reality.
What else do we have? What a collection.
Well, this is the highlight of the fair for us, and we're talking about the first complication that we have on the Toric. It comes in two colors, one in platinum and one in pink gold, where you have a morning blue on the left, and you have a golden hour on the right.
Yep.
complications are adding information on a dial. But in every watch, from the simple two-hander to the highest complication you have, there are only two things that you have to repair at a glance like that, minute and hour hand.
Yes.
The rest has to be toned down because otherwise it's
needed
confusing.
on demand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Usually perpetual calendars are very busy dials, and we wanted to go back to the purity of the Parmigiani and make it subtle, make it easy to read. So you can see that you have concentrated the information. Instead of having 4 counters, you have only 2 counters that are coaxial, so you have the double information on both counters. And if you draw a line from the logo to the center of the counters, you have a perfect triangle.
Yes.
This means that you have the space of this opening in a very balanced way, in a very proportional way.
I love how you preserve the serenity on the dial
You have
around
to.
it. Yeah, because
exactly.
again, to talk Parmigiani, composure, steadiness. There's a moment of pause in the essence of the way this brand exists. You know what I mean? Every time I come in here, I just take a breath. I'm in Parmigiani, and this watch makes you take a breath as well.
Thank you.
Is there something happening here, or am I just really tired?
I think you have nailed our soul, because we are about a personal self-indulgence. It's not about social recognition. You don't come to Parmigiani for social recognition. You come to Parmigiani for a personal indulgence. You are expressing a refinement which is understated. It's not ostentatious. And people think that understatement is like you want to fade. No, understatement is a bold choice. Understatement, you have to be daring, to be refined, and not following the flow, and you can buy a lot of things with money, but you cannot buy education and taste. And you get there with a maturity when you understand that what is cool is not what society is imposing you to buy, but what is cool is what you think you buy. That's why we took out the logo from the dial. The logo is for the others. Now this is a watch for the owner.
Pavel is smiling, which is rare. And I feel that that last 90 seconds was the most perfect summary of why I find myself drawn like a moth back to Parmigiani every single year. Zach is drawn to invest in one of your greatest watches, which has a new iteration this year. Thank you so much for that,
Thank you, Andrew.
tour.
Always a pleasure.
Like and subscribe to Time+Tide. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you again, Guido.
Thank you, Andrew.